Hello everyone. So in this video I want to show you how you can use Winproladder in order to program FARTech PLCs. In the lab you will find a couple of FARTech PLCs which you can use in order to program and test out these programs. So one initial thing you can do is, as usual, you can go to File, New Projects, and then give a project name, and then one important thing here is to select the correct PLC. Now in FARTech there are so many options available, so you have to select FBS 24MA. So this is specific PLC model which we have in the lab. So once you have selected that, the options will be suitable for that. Then once that is done, you can click on OK, so that you will end up with a similar screen like before. Now here you can see the rungs are indicated by n numbers, and so let's start by doing some simple activities. Now here I'm not going to talk about all the operations, but rather give you a basic idea of how this application works. It's mostly similar to Omron. Let's look at the differences what we have. So here you can see there is a toolbar as usual, so you can click on whatever the icons you want to add, and once you add, now here typically in Omron we will give an address here. Now here if you can just move the cursor here, it will show you available options. Now in FARTech the memories or the locations are all named using a different syntax. So here what they use is, they have alphabetic characters X, Y. For example, if you look here, it will show you X, Y, M for memory, T for timers, and C for counters. So what you can do is, to specify inputs, X are considered to be inputs, so you can say X0 to indicate the 0th input, and then to just to generate, like just to write a basic code, like you can say Y0 to Z1 output here, and then you can connect with horizontal lines. So this is a very basic program which you usually we can test out. So let me save the file here. Say you can give any file name. Now here the file extension is a little different. As I told you in the beginning, these PLC softwares are pretty manufacturer specific. So you should use a software which supports your PLC, so you can then create the file. Now here also in Omron, like same as in Omron, here also we have a simulation mode available. So what in order to run a simulation of this program, what you can do is, you can go to PLC, click on simulation. Now once you click on that, you will go into a simulation mode, and in order to start the simulation you can click on run PLC. So once you run it, you will see that so let me try to hide the taskbar, or let's try, yeah, if I full screen it, here you can see a red dot blinking, and then a timer is, or a count is counting up. So basically this is to indicate that your simulation is started and you are running in the simulation. Now let's try to set this value, so you can click on that and say I think you can click on on. So here you can see when the input is on, your output is on. So basically that is how you can do basic simulations in this software. Now in order to stop your simulation, you can click on stop PLC, and to end the simulation you can select end simulation. So once that is done, you will see that the red dot is no longer there and you are in the editor mode. Now moving on, so latching also similarly works. Now just to show you that latching works, what I can do is, I can quickly rename this to a memory location, and in order to use a latch, what you can do is, I can get that same memory, so that what we need is actually the same number X naught, and then in addition we need to add another memory location here, M naught. Then we can connect a horizontal vertical line, So once you connect that, automatically the rung will be expanded. So that is how this this interface works. Now if I again run, let me put a normally closed switch here, just to so that I can exit it much easily. So here if I see simulate, and you can say run PLC. So in that case Now I can go to the cursor and select. Let's turn this on. Okay, turn this on and off. Here you can see the memory is latched as usual. Now to delatch, what you can do is right click and select off. Sorry, it should be on and then off. So here, that is how you can basically clear the memory locations. Right. Now moving on to much more advanced things like timers and counters. So let's try to put a timer here. So let me take another input, let's say x2, and for timers you can go and click on this timer block. So if you click on that, you will get a menu like this. Now in order to get now here the syntax, now in Omron we had advanced syntaxes like TIM, then you had to give the size and everything, but here is a little different. So what you can do is you can go to basically the help and say function instruction help. It will just open up a file. Now if you search whatever you want to search, now in my case I want to know about timers. So if you take timer, it should give you an interactive a set of instructions or a detailed set of information about the timer. Now here you can see the amount of time, or whether it's a 0.1 timer or a 0.01 or a 1 second timer, that is controlled by the memory location. So if I want to, let's say, count in 0.1 seconds, or let's say I want to count for let's say 10 seconds, in that case I can select something like T200. Now if I put a timer block again, and here you can see if I press an address or if I complete the address, it will show the timer amount, and if I go with a different timer, you can see it changing. Now for this purpose, let's go with a timer 200, and here the value you can give, let's say I want to count for 5 seconds, then you can click on OK. Once that is done, you can again draw the lines as usual and connect them. Now here drawing, you don't have a shortcut as of yet, just to get the output. So here to get the timer value, you can say the address of the timer, which is timer 200, then you can put it into a memory output state, let's say y0. So in this manner, I think there is a shortcut, so you can click on H. So yeah, you can just draw complete the line. So let me now restart the simulation. So we can go to simulation and say run simulation. Okay, now once you are there, if you go and say on, here you should see that the time is counting in seconds, and once it is completed, you will get this. Now I think this is a non-retentive timer, so if you disconnect and reconnect, it will start from the beginning as usual. So that is just a basic time example. Now let's try a count as well. So to add a counter, you can go and see again about counters also. I think you can get the help. Sorry, so I think I'm still running the PLC. We have to end the simulation first here. And you can go to function help. If you search for counters, here you have up down counters if that is the requirement, or you can go to a general up counter. Now let's put a counter here, and your addresses will be indicated. So here a 16-bit counter you can get by C0. Let's go with a C0. I don't need 16 bits, I just need about, so we'll say C0, and for counter values I can say, let's say 10. Right, so now one thing what we need is let's put our timer value here. Yeah, why not? So that it will automatically run. Instead I can give my T200 value. Actually I can set a triggering so that I get the rising edge of T200. So that is a possible option. Then we can connect our count pin, and then now to make it easy, let me change this into a let's say 0.1 timer, second timer. Yeah, so it will basically count for 0.5 seconds. And then just to give a clear pin here, let me let's give another input, say x3. Again, to get the output status, you can use the same, like similar to a timer, you can say C0 to get that, and to get the output you can go and say y1. So you can connect that. Okay, now let's run and see. Say simulate and run PLC. Okay, so the simulation is running here. Now if I say, so we tested these things, let me start the timer here. Okay, I'm starting the timer. Okay, so one thing here, I'm using T200, so that's a bug I have. So you need to, in the simulation, change this to T100 because that memory is not updated. That should now work. Let's try to simulate. Okay, so here you can see when I start and stop, the count value is increasing. Now I need to go for 10 counts. Now let's modify this program so that, okay, let's say I want to develop a kind of like a blinking situation. Now in that case, let's say after 10 blinks I want to stop everything. So what I can do is, now in order to blink successfully, what I need is, once this time is complete, I need to call another timer, right? So for that, here I can give another timer, let's say T101. So I can add another timer block here, and let's say T101. Again for the same value, let's say 0.5 seconds in that case. So what happens basically here is, once this time is complete, it will trigger this and it will go on, and once that is complete we can cut this off. So what we can do is, we can put a normally close value here, sorry, so we can normally close value here, so that it will automatically reset the whole system. So I can say T101. Now what I expect to see basically is my timers counting, like going up and down. So here I can again use this one in order to get the counts. So if I do that one, let's try to run it again. So while I need to enter simulation, then run PLC. Okay, so first thing we need to enable this one. Here you can see my blinking is going on and it's automatically detecting 10 counts. After that also it's detecting. Now let me reset this value, so you can clear this and set it off. So again you can see it's counting 0, 1, 2 up to 10. When the counter is filled, I'm getting a signal here, so this is triggering. So basically here I have just shown you how you can do almost all the things, like basic memory, then timers and counters. So these are kind of like the things you will mostly be needing in order to implement a reasonable system. Now in addition to this, when we are uploading it to a PLC, now this part we did not do in Omron, but here we have physical PLCs available, these Fartech PLCs. So in order to upload a program to a PLC, what you can do is, basically you can say, now instead of going into simulation, say your program is this is what you want to put, what you can do is, you can go ahead and say click on online, and once that is there, now Fartech PLCs are actually we are connecting using serial RS232. so now in this case I have connected a PLC and it's powered on, connected to COM1. So here you have to select the correct COM port, and if there are any changes you need to do, you have to do it here, but default settings will work in this case. So we can click on OK. Now in this case we can see we are receiving data. Okay, now we ended up with a warning. So what this basically means is, I already had a different program in the PLC, so that is why it's asking whether to reload the project again. Yes, this is what we want. So to update the program you have to say yes, and again it will try to update the program. You saw a progress bar here. Once the program is updated, you will see this kind of a box which shows the status, or like how many operations are there and those kinds of memory information and things like that. Even here you can see the model we are using, and even the version number of the connected PLC will be shown. So you can basically click on OK. Once that is done, then you can go to PLC and say run PLC. Then it will ask if you are sure. Yeah, we are sure. So right now basically this is running and our PLC is running. You can see that it is there, and if you make any physical changes, you will see these indicate those changes. Now at the moment, if you can notice, my X1 button is pressed, so I have basically connected a connector there, so that is physically indicated here. So that is how you can do all the basic operations which we talked about in the previous sessions in this specific interface. So if you have any questions, you can post in the forum or contact me for any updates. Thank you.